Luke Combs breaks down in tears. On stage, a raw moment of fatherhood and music at Newport Folk Festival. Luke Combs is a name synonymous with modern country stardom. From chart-topping anthems to sold-out stadium tours, he has become a towering figure in country music over the last decade. Known for his down-to-earth persona and gritty vocals, Combs has built a loyal fan base across the country music landscape and beyond. But at this year's Newport Folk Festival in Rhode Island, Luke Combs reminded everyone of something far deeper than fame, fanfare, or success. He reminded them of his humanity. In a setting that's a far cry from the roaring crowds of his usual shows, Combs found himself in an emotional moment so intense, it brought his performance to a complete halt. The song was "Whoever You Turn Out to Be," a tender ballad written for his two young sons, and when Combs reached a particular line, "But you ain't gotta change the world to make your daddy proud," he broke down, overcome by emotion, unable to continue singing. What happened that night on the Newport stage was more than just a performance slip or a surprising deviation from a polished act. It was a rare, vulnerable glimpse into the soul of an artist navigating life as a father, husband, and human being, and it moved the crowd in ways that no chart-topping hit ever could. The setting: a festival with soul. To fully understand the magnitude of this moment, we need to take a step back and look at where it happened. The Newport Folk Festival isn't just any music festival. It's a sacred space for singer-songwriters, storytellers, and musicians who lean into authenticity over mainstream appeal. Artists like Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, and Johnny Cash have all graced its stages. It's a place where raw, acoustic music thrives, and where the audience expects something real. So when Luke Combs was announced as one of the headliners for this year's festival, the reaction from longtime fans of the event was, to put it mildly, mixed. Some festival goers were excited by the prospect of Combs bringing his powerful voice and songwriting chops to Newport's storied grounds. Others were more skeptical, wondering if a mainstream country star, known for beer-drenched party anthems, was the right fit for such a revered, intimate setting. Adding to the tension was the fact that Newport sells out every year before the lineup is even announced. This creates a special kind of trust between the festival and its ticket holders. An unspoken promise that they're going to experience something musically rich, emotionally honest, and often unexpected. Luke Combs knew that, and rather than brushing off the doubts, he leaned into the challenge. A different kind of show. In a recent interview, Combs opened up about his mindset going into Newport. The offer to play Newport was a little bit contentious, he admitted. Some fans were like, "Oh, this could be cool," and others were like, "Oh, why would you book this guy?" That awareness played a major role in how he approached the show. Instead of delivering a greatest hit set filled with crowd pleasers like "Beer Never Broke My Heart" or "When It Rains, It Pours," he worked with his band to create a stripped-back, emotionally focused set, full of deep cuts, B-sides, and acoustic arrangements. "It wasn't about playing the hits," Combs explained. "We built a special set for this, not my hit stuff. B-side kind of stuff." It was a bold move. For an artist of his stature, deviating from fan-favorite songs can be risky. But Combs wanted to respect the spirit of the Newport Folk Festival and connect with the crowd on a deeper level. And it worked, in a way no one saw coming. The song that changed. Everything among the songs chosen for this special set was one from his 2023 album Fathers and Sons, a personal record exploring the complex emotions of parenthood. The track, "Whoever You Turn Out to Be," is written as a heartfelt letter to his two young sons, Tex and Bo. It's not a stadium anthem. It's not meant to be belted out over fireworks and massive LED screens. It's a lullaby, a confession, a love letter. As Combs sat on a stool under the soft stage lights of Newport, acoustic guitar in hand, he introduced the song and talked briefly about what it meant to him. He spoke of fatherhood, of spending the last month at home with his family, and of the things that truly matter beyond fame or accolades. Then, as he started to sing, the weight of his own words began to settle in. The first verse came out steady but emotional. The first chorus, "But you ain't gotta change the world to make your daddy proud," was too much. Combs stopped. He buried his face in his hands as the band played on gently behind him. The crowd, silent and respectful, watched in support as the superstar crumbled into something all too familiar, a father overwhelmed by love. An unexpected breakdown. After a few seconds, Combs composed himself, wiped his eyes with a towel, and addressed the crowd. "Sorry," he said quietly. That got me a little bit. He tried to continue the song, but his voice cracked with emotion. The chorus, meant to be a triumphant refrain of unconditional love, was choked out in fragments. When the song ended, he turned back to the audience and said, "I remember why we don't play that one very much. I apologize," but then, quickly correcting himself, he added, "Well, I don't apologize, because I was in the moment there." And that moment, raw, unpolished, deeply human, may go down as one of the most unforgettable of his career. Why that moment hit so hard for Combs? The emotional outburst wasn't just about the lyrics, it was about timing. He had just come off a month-long break, spent entirely at home with his wife and 2 sons. The life of a touring musician doesn't often allow for extended periods at home, and for someone like Combs, constantly in the spotlight, constantly moving, that time was precious. "It had been a while since we'd played," he said in an interview following the performance. "I'd just spent a month with my kids, and so we're playing it at Newport, and I just broke down, man, right in the middle of it." He continued, "As I was talking, I was just thinking about it, and then I'm singing the first verse and the first chorus, and I'm trying to keep it together on the second verse. And I'm just like, man, everybody just thinks I'm a terrible singer right now. I'm about to really start crying, and we get to the second chorus, and I just lost it. Didn't sing the whole second chorus. We just did one more chorus, and I was like, that's it. That's enough. I can't take it." It wasn't a technical issue. It wasn't nerves. It was simply love, the kind that sneaks up on you when you're not expecting it. Love for his family, gratitude for his kids, vulnerability as a father, laid bare in front of thousands. A different kind of triumph. What's perhaps most remarkable about this story is the audience's reaction. They could have been confused. They could have been disappointed not to hear the hits, but instead, they cheered him on, clapped for him, and stood with him in solidarity. In that crowd were lifelong Newport fans, people who may have doubted whether Luke Combs belonged at a folk festival. But in that moment, they weren't watching a country megastar. They were watching a man sing about his children and lose himself in that love. And that's what Newport is really about. Stripping away the celebrity and reaching the core of what music is. Emotion, connection, storytelling. What it means for fans and for country music. Moments like these are rare in the modern music industry. Artists are often expected to be flawless, to put on a polished show, to maintain a brand. But every once in a while, something real cuts through. And it reminds us why we turn to music in the first place. Luke Combs' breakdown wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a moment of strength. It took courage to share a deeply personal song. It took even more courage to fall apart in the middle of it, and then talk openly about it afterward. For fans, it was a reminder that behind the voice is a father, a husband, a man grappling with the beautiful chaos of real life. And for the world of country music, so often associated with trucks, bars, and backroads, it was a powerful example of how the genre can evolve and reach deeper emotional territory. A legacy beyond the charts. In years to come, Luke Combs' performance at Newport Folk Festival might not be remembered for the set list or the headlining slot. It will be remembered for one song and one moment of total surrender to emotion. And when his sons are old enough to understand, it will be remembered by them too, as the night their dad, up on a world stage, cried because he loved them so much. And that's a legacy no platinum record can touch.